chromaticism to your lines is a great way to bring some new flavors to the normal patterns and shapes many of us use on the guitar. In today's lesson, I'm going to walk you through one of my favorite chromatic blues licks. We'll break it down and then I'll show you a few variations so you can get the most out of it and maximize your vocabulary. My name is Jack Ruch. Welcome to my channel. Let's get into it. So for today's lesson, we're in the key of A, and the backing track that I'm using is a simple 3-chord 12-bar blues shuffle. Now the lick I'm going to discuss happens over an A7 chord. So here's a simple version of the lick played at tempo and then slowed down. So this lick happens in this position around the 10th fret of the B string, this note A. This is the root note in this position. And when I'm thinking of playing this type of thing in this position, I'm seeing this basic A major triad shape. This is like a D chord, but moved up with the root there on the 10th fret of the B string. And a lot of this comes out of the A major pentatonic scale in this pattern. So it's good to know your chord shapes, your triad shapes, and your scale patterns in a position like this when you're learning a lick. This will help you to kind of visualize where you are on the fretboard. So the chromatic part of this lick happens from this note C sharp, walking up to the note E, all on the high E string. That's the third of this A major chord, walking up to the 5th scale degree of A major, right? So the major third to the perfect 5th. Those are the intervals that we're dealing with in this lick. So that's the little chromatic segment. We start by hitting the root, and then sliding into the third, and then walking up chromatically. Right, so that's the cool little chromatic thing that connects these two chord tones together. Then from there, we come back down to the third, and then right down this triad shape. So really targeting chord tones to outline the sound of the chord. Then we come down here to the note D, which is the 4th interval, and then slide into the 3rd, and then right up that major pentatonic scale. Right, so this is a simple kind of variation on this lick. We'll get into some other things we can add to this as we go along. But more or less, this is, a very major sounding lick. But by using those chromatic notes, we're kind of connecting a little segment of this together, which just breaks it up in a different way and adds a different flavor. So here is that simple version of the lick, again, played to this shuffle backing track. All right, so one simple variation we can do to this little line is actually change the direction of the chromatic movement, right? Instead of ascending, going up, we can go down. And I like to do this little movement where I come down from the E, chromatic down to D, and then go back to E, and then hit the C sharp and then A. And that's, again, the notes of my A major triad. So I can play the exact same lick, but just change the direction of that chromatic movement. right? So two very similar variations, but different feel and a little bit different fingering. So this is the kind of thing you can do with these chromatic lines, is just mess around with them and play around with them. So now I'll play that lick along to the backing track. Sounds like this. All right, so another little variation I like to add to a line like this is a little triplet figure at the front end of this lick. Instead of just starting with our root and then going right into the chromatic thing, I'll actually do this little triplet figure. And that's just sliding up what almost looks like a F sharp minor triad right there. I'm actually playing in the key of A, I'm playing the sixth interval, right? This note F sharp, and then A, and then my C sharp. So, and I'm sliding into that first note. Right, and if I play it fast, it really works, that triplet thing really works well over this kind of dotted eighth shuffle or swing kind of feel, right? Right, it has a nice little flow to it, the way that it falls together. So again, I'll play that kind of slowed down, the whole thing. And now here's this variation over the shuffle backing track. Again, all over the A7 chord. All right, so now that we've got these three variations on this basic idea, let's put it together over this track to create a solo. Now, when I'm playing to a tune like this, I always am conscious of what's happening in the chord progression underneath, and I want the lines that I'm playing to fit with the underlying chords. So what I'm going to do is, as we move through this progression, I'm going to move these lines around to outline the different chord changes. And you can do that in a simple way by just moving it up and targeting the root note for each chord. So if I play that line over A, and then we move to the 4 chord, the D chord, I can just find my D note here and play that same line. Right, and I can do the same thing for E up here or even down here. Right, but the other cool thing I can do is actually jump down string sets, and this is going to cause me to change up some of these fingerings, which is a great thing to practice with new lines that you're working on. The nature of the guitar, the way it's tuned, when you start moving things around to different string sets, the fingerings change because of the tuning of that B string and the different challenges that come with that. So I can do the same kind of licks over my D chord down here on the D, G, and B string. And over the E chord right here. Right, so these different string sets provide some different fingering options, which are fun to explore. So now I'm going to play a couple times over this backing track, and I'll use a few of these different variations in different ways to outline these changes, and you can really hear how useful this little lick is over this blues progression. guys. So as always, if you want the tabs and notation to these examples and this solo, head over to my Patreon site. The link is down in the description. And while you're down there, check out all my other links. I've got a new course that just came out all about lead guitar concepts. It's called The Art of Melodic Soloing. It's really cool. It's on sale. So check that out. And until next time, happy practicing and take care.